The horse came back alone just before sunrise. It walked slowly through the morning fog, head hanging low, reins dragging in the dust like something it couldn't carry anymore. People in Briar's Edge didn't need anyone to say a word. They already knew. When a horse comes back without its rider, it never brings good news. The whole town went still. A man froze mid-step. A woman dropped her bucket by the well. Even the wind seemed to stop moving, because everyone knew whose horse it was. It belonged to Caleb Rourke, and Caleb Rourke never let go of his reins. 3 days earlier, Caleb had ridden out without saying a word. Now, Caleb wasn't a talkative man, but this felt different. This wasn't silence, this was distance, the kind of distance a man carries when something inside him is already gone. He was tall, worn down by sun and time. His coat always carried dust, even when he hadn't traveled, and his eyes looked like they were still searching for something they lost a long time ago. He lived alone at the edge of town, just him and his horse, Ash. Ash wasn't just any horse. He was loyal, sharp, the kind of animal that understood things before they happened. People used to say Ash followed Caleb like he understood him better than any human ever could. Maybe that was true, because Caleb wasn't easy to understand, not after what happened. Years ago, Caleb had a younger brother named Thomas. Thomas laughed easily, trusted people too quickly, saw good even when it wasn't there, and that was his weakness. One night, Thomas rode out with a group passing through town, said they needed help, said it would be quick. Caleb warned him something wasn't right, but Thomas just smiled and told him not everyone was a storm. He never came back. They found him days later in a dry ravine, alone, stripped of everything but his name. Caleb buried him himself, and after that, something inside him closed for good. From that day on, Caleb stopped trusting, stopped caring, stopped living, except for one thing: finding the man who did it. For years, he chased rumors, names, shadows, whispers, always close, but never close enough. Until 3 days ago, a stranger passed through town, scar on his cheek, loose tongue after a few drinks. Caleb didn't talk much, but he listened. And when the man mentioned a group hiding beyond Black Ridge, Caleb stood up before the story was even finished. That night, he saddled Ash. No goodbye, no explanation, just the sound of hooves disappearing into the dark. And now, Ash had come back. Alone, which meant something had gone wrong. The sheriff, Elwood Pike, stepped forward slowly. He reached for the reins. "Where is he, boy?" Ash didn't panic, didn't run. He just stood there. Then slowly he turned his head toward the horizon, toward Black Ridge. They found Caleb just before sunset. The ground told the story first. Boot prints, broken branches, blood in the dirt. There had been a fight, a bad one, and Caleb had faced him alone. They found him near the rocks, barely breathing, but alive. For 2 days he didn't wake. The doctor tried everything, but something deeper held him down, like part of him wasn't ready to come back. Outside, Ash waited. Didn't move, didn't leave, just stood there. On the 3rd night, Caleb opened his eyes. Thomas. That was the first word he said. They were there, the ones who did it. I found them. They didn't even remember him, just another job. I thought it would mean something, but it didn't. They were just empty men, and I wasted years chasing ghosts. I could have stayed, could have built something, but I kept riding in circles. I didn't finish 'em all. One of 'em was just a kid. He looked at me like Thomas used to. I let him go. Days passed, then weeks, and one morning Caleb stepped outside. The sun was rising, soft and warm. Ash walked up beside him. "You didn't give up on me." Caleb looked out at the land, the same land he'd been running across for years. "Maybe I got it wrong. I thought revenge would close the door, but it only kept it open." That day, Caleb didn't ride out. For the first time in years, he stayed. Weeks later, people noticed Caleb fixing fences, helping neighbors, sitting quietly watching the sunset, not chasing anything, just being there. One evening, the sky burned gold. The sheriff asked him, "You heading out again?" Caleb looked at the horizon, then shook his head. No. He rested his forehead against Ash. "I think I'm done running." And for the first time in years, the silence didn't feel empty. It felt like peace. Now I want to ask you something. If you were Caleb, would you have chosen revenge or peace? Let me know in the comments. And if this story stayed with you, make sure you subscribe for more stories like this.